Alright everyone, welcome back to another Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes video with Fat Phil, and we're going to be speculating on the next Lightspeed bundles that will be coming into the game. With us fast approaching May the 4th, I think it's a good time to kind of analyze what you can expect, set your expectations, and also kind of give you some framework for what you can be seeing. If you're a player where you're very picky about your Lightspeed bundles and the amount you spend on the game, this is going to be a great way for you to prepare yourself for what's to come, because I think we'll see some bundles in May the 4th, but I also think we'll see some bundles get released as we get closer to the raid, and depending on your spending habits, strategies, you might want to prepare yourself to not get ones that are released May the 4th if there's some that will be needed for the raid. So we're going to talk about that, kind of what to prepare yourself for, what not to do, and the likelihood of, not just what new ones, but how likely they're to happen, because we have gotten a lot of them released. There's a lot to think about here. So we're going to deep dive this, guys. Please like, subscribe, comment down below. Give a shout out to our channel members, as always, for their continued support. If you're ever interested, y'all know where that link is. It's below, along with a link to our Discord. Go check it out. Really appreciate you guys. It's been a fantastic journey creating this channel, and I am so glad that I've cultivated a community that includes you fine people. So thank you again. Let's get in here. Let's talk about some bundles. Alright, so let's just break down Galactic Legends for a second here. We've gotten bundles for every single Galactic Legend up to Leia. And even with Leia, we've gotten Princess Nisa, but we haven't gotten some of these other characters like Captain Rex, Scout Trooper, Captain Drogon, but a lot of these other units have been released in other bundles. So while we haven't gotten a specific Leia one outside of Nisa, we have gotten a lot of her units sold in other bundles. Very similar situation with Kenobi, where we haven't gotten a bundle per se for him, but a lot of his Rex have made their way into the game. And now with Lord Vader, I can confidently say that Bad Batch bundle kind of solved the last problem you were seeing there, where we did get a Lord Vader bundle. That's kind of what I would envision the Bad Batch being. Everything else made its way to the game. So while these, Jabba we did get a bundle for, but like some of them we haven't gotten specific, hey, here's Leia's thing. We've gotten bits and pieces along the way, so those ones have kind of made their way there. I wouldn't expect anything else other than some re-releases. Ahsoka, don't even, we can skip that, right? Not happening. Now, in terms of the journey guide, there's only a handful of characters. Obviously, Mace Windu, he's not even in the game yet, but Jedi Knight Cal Kestis, Jar Jar Binks, Baylan, Leviathan, and Bo-Katan. Those are the last bastions of we've not gotten a Lightspeed bundle into the game. I think Baylan, still too recent, and even to a degree, Jar Jar Binks, still recent, right? He's not even available in Journey Guide, so I'm not expecting those guys May the 4th. Bo-Katan, I can see happening, but at the same time, it might seem a little bit too soon, so I don't know that we'll get Bo. And I still don't believe we'll get a Leviathan bundle, because I feel Leviathan is still that fleet meta. This would be a groundbreaking. They sold this, it's game, set, match, right? You're screwed. I don't think they're going to be doing this anytime soon, unless we get another capital ship and things get easier. But Jedi Knight Cal for me is an interesting one that I do believe that's a bundle that will come to fruition. I would say May the 4th you could expect that, especially because I think this is a character that many players are putting on the back burner because of Bo-Katan and these new things. Obviously, Zepho not as impactful as Mandalore, so I can see them cashing in on this. And that's going to be a very, very good bundle, because every single one of those characters, Tarful, your unaligned Force users in Seer and Cal, your Rebel fighter in Saw Gerrera, and the Night Sister Marin, every single one of them has a Zeta on a level 7 ability, and that the level 8 adds an Omicron. So one of the things we've noticed with these Lightspeed bundles, especially the more recent ones, is when you purchase them, think about the, Afra bundle when we got like Hondo and stuff, there were Zetas involved in that Lightspeed bundle because the level 7 of their ability is a Zeta and the level 8 is an Omicron. Where your legacy characters, like Qui-Gon Jinn, for example, where, he was the, he's a Galactic Republic Jedi, you look at his leadership, the level 8 is the Zeta and the level 9 is the Omicron. So when they sell a bundle at level 7 for him, he's not getting a Zeta, but the new characters, they will get a Zeta at 7 and an Omicron at level 8. So, like a Jedi Knight Cal Kestis bundle, any new bundle now, you're going to get Zetas, which is really nice. That's a big bottleneck for a lot of players, so there will be much more intrinsic value to these newer bundles because they will also help you obtain Zetas compared to some of those older ones where they were just giving you the gear. Now, you're not going to get all the Zetas, but you'll get at least some to be able to make these teams usable. So, that's your journey guide, right? I think we've covered the journey guide. Now, in terms of ones that they can re-release, I mean, they're all up for grabs. I would say the ones I would really love to see released again are the Rey and Kylo bundles. I think those were just so incredibly good that I hope they do get re-released. Those really changed the game, and I feel it's really great to get Galactic Legends in the hands of players sooner, so I hope those do get re-released. Honestly, those should have a permanent place in the store, in my opinion. I think they're, that's one I would definitely put permanently. In similar situation, even with Starkiller. Those are so good that I personally feel that we should get those permanently inside of the store that you can purchase at any point in time. Now, the next aspect of Lightspeed bundles that we need to consider is about the raid. And in regard to the raid, right now we've got Battle for Naboo. And so my extremely flaming hot take is that the Gungans under Jar Jar, while I don't think it's going to happen May the 4th, I could see this happening far sooner than some of the other characters, because once this raid is over, there's going to be a lot less incentive to build Jar Jar Binks. This is a team that, while it's good, I would not say it's breaking any records. So my assumption with this character, with this raid system, is that I cannot condone building Jar Jar at that point, and I think a lot of other players would agree that the best thing you can do is, if you've not built this faction, I'm probably not going to tell you to do it, and if they sold it in a Lightspeed bundle, I could see a lot of players hopping on board to save them the time. When, there was it was a while ago, Egnards and I did a stream together, and we were kind of talking through, like, the different bundles and what they represent, and we call them like Galactic Legend, Journey Epic, Raid, Faction, and Convenience. And the Faction and Convenience kind of blur the line a little bit of, hey, we're going to give you this faction because it's pretty good. I would argue the Gungans, if they release that, would fit in that Convenience bundle for me. It's just convenient. Yes, it's going to give you a faction, but it's a convenience one because there's not a benefit to having them. So I would very much venture to say this is a bundle that could happen a lot sooner. Because of the Naboo raid sunsetting, players aren't going to want to invest. So that's a very flaming hot take, but I could see it happening. Another one that kind of sticks out to me is Maul. We've gotten a Boba Fett sign of Jango. We got TIE Interceptor. We got Commander Tano. And the other solo ones we got were like Watt and Karimani. So I could see Maul also being released. With the Darkside clones replacing him in the Lord Vader team, I feel there's a strong case to be made that he sort of is sold as a conquest bundle because most players are not going to be willing to interact with him. You're not going to be gearing him up anymore unless you've got your Darkside Mandalorians, and even then, there's a investment to be made there. So I'm thinking with him, they potentially sell him as a Lightspeed bundle in order just to generate some profit off of a character who really is going to get lost in a lot of players' rosters with the release of these new clone troopers. So I would potentially wonder if Maul gets released as part of that, Lightspeed bundle. May the 4th, here's a conquest unit, that you could be having. Now, finally, going into the Order 66 raid, there's going to be some free-to-play or player-friendly factions that will get Lightspeed bundles added to the game. Remember going back to 2024, there was the Jedi Allies Lightspeed bundle, right? That these characters were sold as a bundle to help you for the Battle for Naboo raid. We even got Separatist characters added there as well, the General Skywalker requirements. Like, there was a lot of stuff that was sold to sort of help you prepare for the raid. And my assumption is a very similar thing will happen with this next Order 66 raid. And maybe, if we're all kind of looking at it, maybe that was the Inquisitors. you think they started ramping up those Separatist bundles way before we got Jedi Allies, and it kind of was like, well, why are we getting these Separatist ones? Oh, here's this new raid, Order 66. So what is that the case with Inquisitors, where they sold that bundle, and maybe it's going to get re-released, and they're going to tell you, hey, you need them for the raid. So just kind of continuing that speculation, we could maybe see a bundle, that this is a team that's going to crop back up. And the way that I feel they did the raid Lightspeed bundles was, they, like Separatists, I distinctly remember getting them released. Then we got the information of the characters, and then they released more bundles. And that was what they did with Jedi Allies. The Galactic Republic Jedi was, they announced the characters for the raid. They released that bundle. Then about 2 to 3 months into the raid, they re-released that bundle. So there's going to be a time for you to be able to say, hey, all right, they've released the character listing. I'm not comfortable, gearing up Jedi Consular, or I'm not comfortable gearing up, say it's, Imagundi and Clone Wars Chewbacca for the raid, for the sake of an argument. All right, oh, you know what? They're the 2 best raid characters. Here's a Lightspeed bundle that's going to get re-released. So there is an opportunity for you to kind of maybe pause on something, wait to see how it's performing in the raid, and then you can decide if you want to make that purchase or not. So that's a big one that I think a lot of you should be waiting for, is those raid-related Lightspeed bundles. If you have a tighter budget, as good as Jedi Knight Cal Kestis can be, I feel it's going to be far easier for players to stomach building that team than potentially having to do some upgrades for the raid, even if it was like Inquisitors or something else. So I'd maybe wait to see what that list is, what bundles they release that are related to it. And remember, May the 4th, for all we know, they could release 0, right? It's all speculation. I would assume they're going to do it because it's massive for their profit levels, and that's, the whole purpose of them. But I would venture to say that there will be some that are re-released, but not all. Again, not all of them, because I don't think that's their mentality. I don't think they like that. These are a very, this is a gacha game, and this is a gacha mechanic. It's a mechanic of, we're going to force you to have to build these things. We're going to force you to have to do this, this, and this in order to, feel like you're missing out. You're going to buy them right away. So I will, I'm going to make sure that we, think through that process as well. The last thing I want to say is, with these Lightspeed bundles and the new ones, the Zetas and everything else, the last thing I want to say is, while yes, they're great value, a Lightspeed bundle's value is only as good as the value it provides to your specific account. So I could sit here and say, if they sold a Jedi Cal bundle, oh, this is an amazing, thing for your, this is so good, But if your account isn't poised to take advantage of Jedi Cal, then that bundle's not worth it to you, right? Where a lot of times I think we sometimes, or a lot of times I feel we lose focus or lose sight of, is your account individually is very different than someone else's. If your guild is nowhere near getting to Zepho, and you're like, oh, I'm going to get the Cal bundle, it might be a very long time before you guys get Zepho. Now, maybe that moves you into another guild, but that's a whole other conversation then. So before, you ask me, Phil, what's the best value one? And we'll talk through that. Remember that at the end of the day, it's what's the value to your account? Do you feel that this is something you're going to get value out of, or do you feel that this is something that just is going to sit there? Because I looked through a lot of players' rosters, and it's very similar, where they've got all these bundles, and they don't have any gear, they don't have any mods, they're not even using the character, so they spent 20, 30, 40, 50 bucks for something that's just collecting dust. And I'm not saying that wasn't a smart decision, because who knows, maybe they never re-release that specific bundle. But but we've seen those bundles come back, so we know they do, we just don't know when. And that's, I think, the unknowing of when is the problem. But again, I want to encourage you just to really think about that hard, about your specific account. Is it worth it? That was one of the things with the Tuskens. I didn't feel the Tusken bundle, even though I need those characters, I didn't feel it was worth it to me, because it wasn't a game-changing faction for me. If something comes up, then maybe I'll regret it, but at the moment of where I'm sitting, it just wasn't a big priority. So I'm going to end it there, guys. Let me know your thoughts down below. Like, subscribe, comment. I love you all. May the Force be with you, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers, my friends.